So I'm at the comic book store, saw this, I was like, oh, The Art of Assad Ribic. And then it's got this shit character on the cover. Screw it.
Hey everyone, it's Wednesday, September 11th, 2019. You know what that means. It's Ash Wednesdays. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for coming to watch. This is my favorite video I do once a week. It's a weekly episode called Ash Wednesdays. It used to be called the In and Out Comics Pull List. That's kind of a dumb name for a thing. People like YouTube, what the hell is this thing? Really, dog? Really? This whole time I'm sitting here preparing, whatever. It used to be the In and Out Comics Pull List, and I decided I wanted to change it. I wanted it to not be pigeonholed into just being a pull list. My videos weren't short. The whole reason of naming In and Out was to be like, encourage myself to remember, like, get in and out, get fast, just 10 minutes, boom, bang, but I feel like I didn't want to just do that and just talk about comics. Here's what I bought, see ya. I don't like watching those type of videos. There's quite a few people that do that. I would rather them expand more or expound, more on why they bought the comics, what they're liking, why they like the particular books, how they feel about not necessarily having to review them or anything, but just a little talk about it to kind of get me into their head a little bit about why I should be interested in those books or not interested in those books. And then I often found myself talking about other things just going on either in my life or just in the industry or whatever. And I was like, I don't really do one of those shows like a lot of YouTubers where I'm talking about industry stuff. I don't have an avenue. Most of my videos are just about a comic. I plop open a comic and we go through it, we talk about it, and it's just talking about comics. So this is my chance to talk about things. So start off today. First, it's 9/11, which it's easy to forget. It's been how many years now? Was that 18 years since 9/11. Here I got some imagery up. Don't ever forget. Some of you, like I know Quirks doesn't ever remember this. He was like 1 year old or something when this happened. But Stan remembers. Stan is one of my co-hosts. Everyone remembers Stan the man. He's a special, important person. And then there, of course, was Forky. He's our resident intern. He kind of represents the new blood, the youth of today, and he kind of makes me smile. I like having Forky a part of the channel. But back to 9/11, this was a tragic event. Those of us who are old enough will never forget where they were. I myself was in bed, and I got a phone call from one of my coworkers, who was, I guess, at work or something. He called me. He's like, turn on the news. And I was like, what do you mean turn on the news? What's going on? He's like, we're under attack. I was like, what? So I flip on the news, and sure enough, I don't remember what channel it was. It was either ABC or NBC. And like the headlines below, America under attack, and it shows the World Trade Center, like New York, smoking. And I was just like, holy shit. It's a moment that'll just be burned in my mind. Now, a lot of the other details surrounding 9/11 since that time are kind of a blur. It was, for days, it was just a bombardment of information that was going on coming in on it. There was a lot of misinformation. Things were changing. Facts, things that were said on day one, all of a sudden on day 3, it was a different story. That leads to a lot of conspiracy theories that have come since that time, which I'm not here to talk about today. I'm here to talk just about remembering this. Remember what 9/11 was, especially if you're old enough. And if you weren't old enough, look into this. And remember these guys. We talk about on Ash on Comics and just comics in general, the ideas about heroes. And firemen are one of the world's true heroes. And these guys especially, what they did that day. There's a song by a band that I really like called Yellow Card. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're kind of a pop punk band. And on one of their early albums, they have a song called Believe. And it's a story. The lyrics, they choke me up every single time. I can't even sing the song, but I'm sitting here doing that right now, is about being saved. That day, being rescued by a firefighter who gave his life up that day to save the person, that's the subject of the song. I urge you to check out that song. I can't play it here because you'll get copyright strikes or whatever, but it's Yellow Card, Believe. It's a beautiful song. It sounds catchy at first, just like this kind of, but when you listen to the lyrics, it's just super powerful and meaningful. And it'd be a good song to listen to today to help you remember and tribute to these men and women that gave up their lives or their health or many different sacrifices to help other people in time of need that were innocent. They had nothing. Whether you believe in conspiracies or whether the story is true or whatever, they were victims of, a heinous act. So it's important, I think, that we all remember that day. Now, also, while you're remembering this day, 9/11, this is going to be the big news. You're always going to hear about what you won't see in the news, because our government has tried to squelch this and try to hide it as a truly shameful act. And that's the other 9/11, which happened in 2012, September 11th, in Benghazi. There's a fantastic book that I read by some of the survivors at Benghazi called 13 Hours. They made it into a movie, which is a pretty good movie, and it's pretty accurate to the book. However, it's not as detailed as the book. And it doesn't try to point fingers, in the whole government conspiracy thing or whatever. But when you read it, there's some clear questions in your mind from about this attack. And they went and defended this consulate, and Ambassador Chris Stevens here, who had been calling for defense and saying, months ahead of time, hey, we need more security. This is a hostile zone. What's going on? And of course, that went unanswered. But just down the street was a CIA compound that we still, to this day, has never been given out what actually was, what they were guarding there, what they were hiding. These specialists were guarding this compound. And when the consulate went under attack, they left their post and went to defend. And there's a lot more of the story. I am not an expert myself, so I don't want to mix up the facts, but I urge you, read that book, learn about what really happened in Benghazi, and it's going to make you upset, and make you really sad. What happened was shameful. We had U.S. forces a half an hour away in Italy that were fueled up, ready to go and get these guys. And not only were they not given approval to go, they were told to stand down. And they were told to stand down by the administration, the former administration, headed by Hillary Clinton, because Obama was nowhere to be found. It's interesting if you want to go study about that, the missing hours of Benghazi that Obama can't account for. It's one of those things, he's not involved because he doesn't want to be, it's that plausible deniability thing that Tom Clancy always talks about. So Hillary Clinton took the stage. So Hillary Clinton made the call to let these guys die. And presumably all the other guys that lived but went to defend and sacrificed themselves to defend, they were going to die too. And then she deleted tens and tens of thousands of emails that she kept on a private server. She lied about it. Just super disgraceful. But again, not here to talk about any conspiracies. These guys need to be remembered. And they died for something. They died for this, America. And whether your politics are left or your politics are right or anything, you should hopefully have love for your country and love for your fellow man, and the guys that risked their lives. This guy was a humanitarian. He was in a hostile zone that was fired up due to the treasonous actions of Barack Obama, who went in there and aided Al-Qaeda to wage war illegally against Gaddafi, and presumably, allegedly, take all the gold, that Libya had. And of course, Libya also was a standout against America and didn't follow some of our, imperialistic designs out there. So he had to be removed. When you look into this, it's so crazy scandalous. And it made me cry when I was following this during the time. What these guys did, and they died, but they looked out for each other. They didn't have a country looking out for them, and it destroys me every day. I think about this, that we got so many people in this country that still don't give a shit about these guys, and it's easy to not give a shit about someone when you don't even know who they are or what they did. But these guys were freaking heroes, every bit as much as this guy right here and his peers and comrades that were heroes in the first 9/11. So remember this day, folks, please. I obviously I can't tell you what to do. This is what I'm going to do, and it matters to me. Now, back to happy thoughts. Ash Wednesday is what you came here for. If you haven't tuned out already, what are we talking about? King Thor #1. It's Marvel #1s, of course. $3.99. Jason Aaron has destroyed Thor. He's now off of Thor, is my understanding, but now he's coming back to do Thor miniseries. So it's like Tom King is getting off Batman, but then he's being given a Batman miniseries book. I was like, come on, it's only $3.99. It is Assad Ribic, and I'm gonna say my boy Quirks is, he's probably pissing his pants. I was gonna say something more lewd, because his favorite comic of all time is the original Thor, God Butcher, I think it's called, that Assad Ribic did. And Assad Ribic's art is freaking beautiful. I hope this book is good. I don't have much faith in Jason Aaron. The guy is a complete tool bag when it comes to writing comics. He attacks fans in the comic. He literally writes the comic characters to attack the fan base. It's so ridiculous. But maybe out of here he'll do something. I don't know. Absolute Carnage, Symbiote of Vengeance #1. So Absolute Carnage is not out of #1s. I believe this is the 8th #1. So we got a couple more, probably $4.99. You got to get them. Get those #1s. And Guardians of the Galaxy Prodigal Son. That's right, guys. There is a new Guardians of the Galaxy book, #1. You can jump on board. Wait, what's that, Ash? Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. It's not a Guardians of the Galaxy book. It's the Prodigal Son miniseries. This is #3 in the miniseries. What they're doing is they're putting the subtitle of Prodigal Son first, putting a 1, and they're scamming you. So, but $4.99, hey, it's cheap, right? It's only $5. Just throw, you could probably use that $5 better as toilet paper, but hey, what not? Star Wars, remember, there's never a day without a Star Wars #1. So we got Star Wars Age of Resistance, Supreme Leader Snoke #1. Now, hopefully this book has something about Snoke, because so far in the movies, this guy has been a completely wasted, worthless character with no backstory. I don't presume these comic writers are going to do anything either. He's just going to run around and be like, oh, I'm Snoke. And then we got Moon Knight Annual #1. Now, I haven't done my research, but I'm pretty certain Moon Knight got canceled. It's hard to keep track. Marvel has over 100 comics, and they cancel dozens of books every month, and they bring out new books every month, and it's really hard to keep track of what's actually in circulation. But I'm pretty positive, and if you know differently, or if you know correctly and you want to reaffirm me, tell in the comments below. But I'm pretty sure Moon Knight doesn't exist, but yet that doesn't stop them from having an annual #1. So hey, it's a #1. You gotta get that. Gotta catch them all. And then finally, Marvel Tales Black Panther #1, $8. I'm pretty sure this is like all those other Marvel Tales stories where they just pick 3, whatever, reprint books and put it in for $8. They could have been True Believers for $1. So your total today, approximately $32 to get these 6, count them, 6 #1s this week. And that can all be yours. So that's it. That's it for the #1s. Remember, never forget. # never forget. And then # what would Stan do? What's this all about? I'm going to talk about it as soon as I eat this burger, which let's get into this. I don't want to eat these cold burgers. I got a new idea I'm going to implement next week, I think, to get to this burger faster. You'll see what it is. Bats is going to hate it. He's going to make fun of me. Oh, I kind of got squished a little bit. That's a little disappointing, but that's all right. I squished my burger anyway after I look at it. I'm going to eat this. I'm going to make Forky and Stan watch, No, I might give them some. And I'm going to drink my soda. And yeah, we'll get back and we'll talk comics in just a second. Whew, that was a good burger. Don't you agree, Stan? Oh, wait. Oh, what you got for me, buddy? Where'd this come from? Oh, yeah. You said they have one last one at the comic book store? Oh, look at that. It's even got your boy Spider-Man villain on there. Thanks, man. I can always count on you. Gotta take a drink of this. Oh, you want some, Forky? No? You're not thirsty? It's good stuff. Damn. All right, so what would Stan do? Where do I even start? So recently, as in yesterday, there was some Twitter drama. And really, that's every day, right? It's just nonstop Twitter drama. I can't keep up with the drama on Twitter. I don't know how people have channels. I guess it kind of makes sense, right? Because you can sort of be this curator of drama. Like, I don't have time to sit 24/7 of Twitter drama, but if someone does a good YouTube video and can collate all the drama and put it into a nice 15, 30-minute video, I could get my daily fix on that. No, I don't really want that, but I guess there was probably a market for it. Anyways, I was on an England team stream last night, and that's kind of what the whole thing was about. I came in a little bit late, didn't understand what everyone's kind of talking about, all this stuff, and apparently the hook of it, what really just kind of ignited the flame, was Ethan Van Sciver made a tweet about England teen, and it wasn't very nice. It kind of was like what the SJWs would call punching down. I didn't like the tweet. I thought it was dumb, and I don't think it was good for Ethan to do it. But you know what? He's a grown man. He can say what he wants. People can say what they want back at him. If Ethan were ever to watch my video, he could hear me right now say, Ethan, I think that was a dumb tweet. That was a Mike Miller worthy tweet. And Mike Miller, if you're watching my video, which I'm pretty sure you're not, know that I like you, and you make some dumb tweets, and you know you make some dumb tweets, and I've never thought ill of you because of it. We all say dumb things. I'm a person, I say dumb things, and the next day I'm like, oh God, why did I say that? That was probably stupid. I think you don't mean anything, so that's why I look at the heart of the person. What do they actually mean? What's their intent? Anyways, I'm not here to talk about Ethan Van Sciver. I'm here to talk about just the kind of the state of comicsgate. And it's honestly, like, comicsgate's dead to me. And by that, what I mean is not the idea that made comicsgate. The brand, the label comicsgate's dead to me. It's been completely hijacked by a group of pros, mostly led by Ethan Van Sciver, who's, the biggest proponent of this all, and he's the biggest name. And he's using it to build a brand for him, which, hey, good for him. Much success. Hope you make millions of dollars and people love your books. And hopefully you are an awesome guy and you treat your fans well. That's, that's what we all should want. I don't have any envy towards the man. I would like to see him be cool to fans and be a guy we can all rally around. But that's beside the point. I've been feeling this way for several months now. I use the term Neo Comicsgate. I kind of coined that because I hated the two names being conflated. There's the old school Comicsgate, which if you're new, if you're not been around for a couple years, but before the whole Indiegogo scene happened, you may not have a clear understanding. Richard C. Meyer, Diversity in Comics, aka Comics Matter, he's changes his name too many times. Your boy Zach. It's like he used to repeat this in his videos all the time, and it didn't need to be repeated by other. Like it helped keep the message on point. He used to talk about two main core concepts of Comicsgate. Was number one, it's about making good stories, not making propaganda, not using established characters from the big two companies to push your social agenda. Right? If you're an indie person and you're making SJW the comic, right? That's fine. You go do whatever you want. It's a free country, and I will fight to defend your right to make your own comic book. That's fine. But you don't get to take Captain America, who's an iconic character, and turn him into a Nazi to push your white patriarchy agenda message so you can replace Captain America with a black guy. Like, you don't get to do that. You don't get to turn Thor into a woman to push your feminist, third wave feminism ideas. Like, you don't. These are iconic characters that, yes, the fans don't own in a legal sense, but the fans own these characters in a spiritual sense. And it's up for companies like Marvel and DC to remember this. Stan remembered this. And Stan had a soapbox that was about these things. And he talked about how the importance of fans and how the fans were the boss, essentially. So fast forward to today. You know, I used to wave this flag when Richard kind of stopped. I used to tweet, what is comicsgate? # what is comicsgate? And I used to tweet weekly. I think it was on every Monday I tried to do it. I would forget sometimes, but I would tweet out, here's the 2 things that comicsgate are, because the SJWs, they'll love to lie and make up things and try to demonize what comicsgate was all about. Now, I don't follow comicsgate anymore because other people within this idea and this group and movement have poisoned the name. So literally all the things that used to be lied about to us, have become true. So it's just like, whatever. There's never going to get that name back. It's been permanently soiled, damaged. And I hate having to make a video like this and describe what is, it's just tiring and tedious. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to use it anymore, but I still like the concept of having a label. Not because I want to label people or anything. I'm not looking to label you, but one label can surmise what I just spent the last 7 minutes talking about, right? Once you understand what the definition of that label is, I can say, I'm X, and you're like, oh, I understand what X is. Thanks. That's it. Boom. Enough to be said. So what I've been doing in the past couple months is I created a hashtag that hasn't really caught on or anything, but I was like, I talked to people and I got ideas, and I was like, we need something else that says the message that we mean as Comicsgate, like, hey, be professional to fans, don't turn these characters into propaganda pieces to push social agendas, don't call us Nazis and bigots and wishing that we died of dick cancer. That's not something Marvel Comics should do, and that's something Marvel Comics has done. They're guilty of these things, and fans are right to be outraged. We used to be able to push that message and say, #Comicsgate, and the people that were educated about what was going on understood the plight, the movement. It's like, we need something like that. So some people came up with, Team Comics, which is something that came about to support Peter Simeti, who I love and I think is a great guy. And I think he's sort of the indie comics version of Stan Lee. He's this wonderful person, and he's exactly someone we need in the industry. And I hope he becomes this mega success. He's trying to start up this new publisher thing. Anyways, I'm not going to derail. Love Peter Simeti. But Team Comics, the whole thing with that was to support him and stuff. It doesn't have the same tone. It's not about that. There was another guy, was it Palmiotti? I forget, who came up with the hashtag I love comics, but then Richard correctly criticized that doesn't say anything. Everyone who's a fan of comics loves comics. Saying I love comics, okay, that's just saying I breathe, it was so generic. And so people have come up with different things, and it's like, I want something that can't be co-opted the way Comicsgate was. So one of the problems with Comicsgate is that it didn't have a predefined things. Richard, used to talk about it, and I tried to carry that flag, but I'm no Richard C. Meyer, so, people don't listen to me. And so it's all these other people that came in through Ethan and the whole fandom menace movement just kind of twisted the name. Now, I don't think necessarily everyone had malicious intent or whatever. It just organically lost its meaning, and you get a bunch of people who are new that don't understand what was going on in the beginning. Their first understanding when someone tells them what Comicsgate is a completely different story. And then when I come along and try to correct them in history, they're like, you don't know what you're talking about. And it's like, they think that because whatever you tend to hear first is what you think is reality. Everything that comes second, regardless of how true it is or how false the original thing is, it's challenging what you know. And so it's instinctive by nature as humans. We just, whatever we learn, that's why it's so crucial to get that first bit of information, that news, to inform people immediately so they don't have to try to plow through, whatever bias has been put in front of them. So I'm holding this camera up in front of a Stan soapbox, and the long-winded story is I came up with the hashtag "What would Stan do?" It just dawned on me one day. I was talking on the Discord channel, and some of the people, and I was like, I got it. It's perfect. The idea of the original hashtag comicsgate, which was thrown on us, and the comicsgate community sort of adopted it, was just to express an idea. It was never to try to form a group and an organization with leadership or anything like that. It was just to say, this is how we feel. This label that you've thrown on us encompasses how we feel, so boom, we're going to own it. And now we can say hashtag comicsgate, and this is what it means. Well, hashtag what would Stan do essentially means the same thing. But now, in addition to, what I just described, I actually have something that, what would Stan do? Because Stan wrote it down. So let's take a second. I'm going to go through this. Bear with me. I appreciate you listening. And, hey, who doesn't want to listen to Stan's words anyway, right? Right? If you're bored with me, don't be bored with Stan. This is the man. All right. Hi, heroes. This is a very solemn moment for me, and I know it will be for you too. You see, since this is Marvel's 30th anniversary, which, side note, that's 50 years ago, wow. Our editorial staff felt now would be a perfect time to present one of our most momentous documents that we've ever printed. Think of this as Marvel's New Year's gift to you and to all mankind. The Marvel Readers' Bill of Rights. Preamble. All Marvelites are created equal. Your bullpen will never favor one group of readers over another. Side note, let that sink in. Will never favor a group of readers over another. In other words, will never favor SJWs over non-SJWs or vice versa. Get it? Okay, back. Therefore, each and every one of you is irrevocably granted these inalienable rights. Number one, the right to an unlimited variety of reading entertainment. Now, this is a good point. I had never believed that any of us had the right to demand that Marvel only make one kind of comic. I never said that Marvel can't make SJW comics or comics for girls or anything. Marvel should. They should make a whole variety of reading entertainment to suit their needs. What they shouldn't do is destroy existing icons in order to do it, right? That's not variety. That's not what we call, diversity. Diversity is you get a bunch of white men. Diversity is adding some women, some people of color into that group. Diversity is not removing all white men and now looking at the people of color and the women and saying, "Yay, we're diverse." No, you're not. You just removed all the white guys. So, anyways, yes, I totally agree. Hey, you wanna make Spider-Gwen, you wanna make Squirrel Girl comics. Well, Squirrel Girl's not really right because that was an existing character, but Spider-Gwen, fine. Hey, go to it. Just leave the original characters alone. Number two, the right to carefully crafted stories that give you a fighting chance to understand what's going on when you plunk down your money. The right to carefully crafted stories that give you a fighting chance to understand what's going on when you plunk down your money. Carefully crafted stories, not propaganda, right? And look at fighting chance to understand what's going on. That to me implies continuity, right? So you don't have to, I don't understand why I picked up the Spider-Man book and they're calling him Otto Octavius. That doesn't make sense to me. Why is Spider-Man black? It doesn't make sense. Understand. Number three, the right to comment about every Marvel tale you read and to know that each of our editors values your opinion. The right to comment. Not saying except on Twitter. There's no, right? You can comment on every Marvel tale you read, and each editor will value your opinion. That goes to one of the original core tenets of comicsgate. We bitch and moan at you, and we say, you're stupid. You don't respond and say, well, you're a white bigot. That's not how you respond. That's not professional. We respond professional and say, I'm really sorry that you're angry with our books. How can we improve our books? How can we make them better so that you'll give us more money? Number 4, the right to buy only the titles that interest you and to shun any title that fails to entertain you. So you mean like all those tie-in books, the 79 books from War of the Realms, Stan? We don't have to get those, but they kind of are forcing us. And what about this new Annihilation event where every book's a number 1? All right, remember that. Only the ones that interest you. Number 5, the right to fearlessly assemble in public to discuss Marvel's comics, characters, and creators. We have the right to assemble in public. You mean in a public space like Twitter? To form a group like comicsgate? To discuss Marvel Comics creators or Marvel Comics characters and creators? We have that right. Yes, we do. We have the right to do that. Remember, this is all what Stan would do. Number 6, the right to address all Marvel editors and creative people by their first names. Now, this hasn't been a contentious thing because I haven't seen anyone actively go against this. This is probably something, for 50 years ago, it was more, society was more mannered. We had a lot more social etiquette and things that people, you addressed elders Mr. So-and-so, that's kind of a bygone era. But, the sentiment is understood. The right to be told what is currently happening in Marvel's mags and what is being planned for the future. Right? So when we ask CB Cebulski, what's going on with this? Why are you doing it? And we're just like, don't ask. You'll like whatever we make for you. Number 8, the right to practice scripting and drawing our Marvel characters for your own pleasure and amusement. We have the right to practice scripting and drawing their Marvel characters for our own pleasure and amusement. This has not really been a contentious thing either. I haven't seen Marvel, although I believe that there was that fanfic that guy did about, what was it, Spider-Man in Vietnam? God, if someone knows about this, tell me. Zach did a video on it like a year ago, and it was really cool. I want to find this. I believe Marvel cracked down on that. Number 9, the right to submit your best work to Marvel for consideration and know that the time and talent you have invested will be given the attention it deserves. Oh, really, CB Cebulski tells us not to submit. We're not supposed to submit to Marvel anymore. So we aren't given the attention we deserve. Now it's all about, do you follow their politics? And then you will be hired for non-merit reasons. So this is a massive violation of current Marvel. The right to expect Marvel always maintain a dedication to quality, a commitment to decency, and a sense of humor about everything we do. Yes, that's a huge thing. Remember when, who was it? I think it was Malone, Mike Malone, is that his name? He told us to die of dick cancer. I think it was Max Bemis told us to eat a bag of dicks. CB Cebulski got called out at a con about this. We have the right to expect Marvel always maintains a dedication to quality and a commitment to decency. That's decency. It's basic human decency. You don't tell anyone that you wished they died of dick cancer. That is just, if you don't, God forbid you ever have someone in your family or you face cancer. It is a horrendous, horrible thing, and it should never be tossed around lightly like that, and it's just completely indecent. Maintain a dedication to quality. Yes, remember all the over 100 titles Marvel puts out every month, 95% of them are, well, not maybe 90% are just dog shit. And they don't care. They just keep churning and burning and hacking it out. And when we told them Iceman sucks and they get canceled, what they do, they brought it right back with the same exact team. They didn't care about improving quality. We had the right to say all this stuff. So be it. No mere words of mine can add to the glory and grandeurs of those 10 immortal declarations, those 10 pillars of wisdom, which shall inspire the mighty world of Marvel now and evermore. Excelsior! Stan the Man Lee, right? Thank you, Stan. So this is hard facts. I don't have to guess what would Stan do. You see? That's my whole point. When I saw about this hashtag, I knew that I had this. People can say, well, you know, you can't speak for Stan. I'm not speaking for Stan. Stan spoke for all of us. And I thank him mightily for making this and every other Stan soapbox that still exists. And Marvel has got, I don't know why they post them in their books. It's like they violate what he's saying. And I think that they believe Stan's saying something that he's not. But whatever, keep posting. There's not a single soapbox I'm ashamed to, oh, please don't show that Stan soapbox that goes against our message. Like, it's not. So here it is. This is what I'm going to be doing. And I encourage you to, if you think it's a good idea. Not because it builds up my brand. Stan will never be my brand. I have Stan here on the channel because it's a tribute to him. This is someone I greatly admire. He's the reason why I'm in comics. I can never own Stan or his memory. I can share it. And it means a lot to me, and I hope it means a lot to you. And I hope comics and the things that he's brought to us in this hobby mean a lot to you. So use this, please. Like I said, it's not something. It's not something I can take away or anyone else can take away. Anyways, I hope you get my meaning of what I was coming with. And if you have any questions, if you want to talk more about this, there's comments below. You can literally type stuff in, and I will try to respond. I also have a Discord channel if you want better communications, and hopefully I'll get some live streams up soon. But Eric Breen, can never get a hold of this guy. He's slippery. So he's probably sitting there going, "When are you going to talk about comics?" So that's coming up right now. So here's my comic box. I got the hieroglyphics from the House of X, the Hickman House and Powers of X, that mutants who created their own language. And they made this in one of the previous books so you can translate some of the stuff that's in the book. It's kind of cool. I like this as a little gimmick. I think as a kid I would have loved it even more. So I put this on my box so I could have it, easy access to it. It'll stay safe. It's got a little protection. And I've been using it, and I'm like, I really like this. Like, it kind of adds like a cool graphic design. And I'm a big fan of design elements that are subtle. So like people who know the thing will get it. X-Men, like people are reading the Hickman books, they'll see this and be like, oh yeah, another fan. But some Joe on the street will look at this and it'll just look like weird symbols and they won't know. Like they won't just be like, oh, look at that comic nerd. I'm a really big fan of that stuff. So here is my pull list. Spoiler alert. You can pause that if you really want to be spoiled. Here is the receipts. Always show your receipts. Holy balls, this is the most expensive receipt I've had in a long time. Why is there a... Oh, that's the alternative. Spoiler alert. Look at this. 10 comics at $3.99. One at $1.99. Give you a guess what that is, and one at $4.99. So only one $4.99 book. I did good, but that's a lot of books this week. So let's get to it. Forgot I didn't have my books ordered, so I had to pause it real quick and order the books. First book is Independence, and it came out on a Wednesday. Totally appropriate for a Wednesday and starting off the show. This is a horror anthology book. If you like horror books, this is the one I really recommend. It's by Alterna right here. Everyone remember Alterna? Look at this, $1.99, and it's a $1.99 because it's a double size book. Normally the Alterna books are $1.50, and you can get them digitally for 99 cents. But this is, if you like horror anthologies or just horror stories in general in comics, it's really not something that's done well or often in comics. This is my way. I'm not a big horror comic. I like horror, but not really so much in comics, but I love supporting Alterna, and this is my pick. So you can't really go wrong, and there you go. Also, in sort of semi-horror, Oblivion Song, I don't really... It's pseudo-horror. There's some horrific elements to it, like the idea that there's this other world and being trapped on it can be horrific. But in and of itself, it's not strictly a horror book. It is a great sci-fi story in the vein of also character-driven ensemble story in the vein of Walking Dead. That's by Robert Kirkman, same guy. The art is not my favorite, but it's Oblivion Song. It's fantastic, and it constantly is grabbing you, and it's just a plot after plot. Like this is the opposite of a Bendis book, right? Where 20 issues go on and nothing actually happens. This is 19 issues and so much shit has happened that it's just constantly like, what can happen next? Oh my God, he's pulled some. Kirkman has just got ideas out of ideas. Moving on to DC, The Flash. Those who are familiar with my channel know that I picked this up for my friend's daughter. Just call her my niece. 78 is the issue. She's a Flash fan. I'm trying to encourage comics and reading, and so this is something that I can do and hopefully foster that love for the hobby that I do. And then Justice League Odyssey, Rise of the New Gods. I've been loving these Justice League Odyssey covers. This one especially. It's number 13. Dan Abnett it's not my favorite. I think I like Josh Williamson on Justice League Odyssey better. But what are you gonna do? Dan Abnett's fine. He's a solid writer, and I like that this book exists. I like that there's this cosmic. DC needs more cosmic stuff. Maybe they're gonna bring the New Gods, and that would be pretty cool. It'd be much cooler than stuff like Wonder Twins and Jimmy Olsen books. Batman and the Outsiders. This is a book that I was really, really excited for. And it just has not been exciting me. It's not a bad book by any means. It just sort of there. It's like, okay, it's a comic book. It's fine. The problem is at $3.99 and with so many books, and I'm already bursting at the seams. Like you saw, look at this, $45 freaking dollars. It's $20 on my budget. Fine isn't. I need better. I need cream of the crop. And I'm sorry, Brian Hill. I love you. You're amazing on social media. You're a consummate professional. You're funny. And you got me interested in your stuff through your Batman when you did Detective Comics. I'm just not interested in the Outsiders. I don't think this character is stupid. I hate this character. And I'm having a hard time. Maybe you've got a bigger plan. Maybe you're going to turn it into this ensemble team. I don't know. I think Black Lightning is a totally bland character. No one, like, the Batman's the only interesting guy to me. And it's not really a Batman book. This is kind of a misnomer. It should just be called The Outsiders. I think that would actually do the book a little bit more credit, to be honest, if it was just The Outsiders and you could get rid of Batman and really drill down on these characters and let them be a team. I think this would have room to feel kind of like an X book. I'm hoping. I'm rooting for it, but it's on the chopping block. Speaking on the chopping block, here's the other Batman book. Oh, yikes. Tom King he's just destroying Batman. You're like, well, why are you getting it, Ash? Well, because, first of all, Tom King started off as a good writer. The early Batman run was good, really good. Second, when I was thinking about dropping it, they announced Tom King was going to be leaving the book, and I was like, oh, all right, well, I'll just ride it out. Yeah, I don't know. I quit all the Bendis books, but I can't quit the Batman. Maybe I will after City of Bane. It's very hard for me to do it in the middle of an arc like that. So I just have weirdo comic OCD when it comes to that, but this is trash. And speaking of trash, Forky has certified that Tomasi's Detective Batman Detective Comics is not trash. And this is the Batman who doesn't suck. We got the Batman who sucks, the Batman who doesn't suck, the Batman who laughs. Don't forget he exists too, but he's different. This is the Batman who sucks and the Batman who doesn't suck. And finally, this was out. I decided for $1 to pick up Batman Hush. I have never read the Hush series. People are like, what? What you have? What? Yeah, I know. Jeff Loeb is one of the best writers. Jim Lee is one of my favorite artists of all time. I love Batman. Why haven't I read this? Because I don't know. I'm behind on like back issue stuff, and I have so many new issues to read that I just don't sit and go and read. And it's just always there. It's like one of those things I look at, go, oh, it's there waiting for me. I'll get to it. I don't have. And so I was like, let me just pick this up and read it because this will ignite the fire. I'm one of those people that once you get the hook in, then I'll burn through it. And I said finally on that book, but I shouldn't. That was premature. Finally, last is best. Hawkman. Hashtag read Hawkman. I got the alternate cover because, man, Hawkman covers have sucked lately. So I'd rather have this Harlequin romance cover version of Hawkman than the what's his name? Pat Olaf. Yeah, it's just he's not doing it for me. But the book is solid. In Venditti We Trust. That issues 1 through 12 of Hawkman were some of the best ongoing comic runs I've ever read. I love it. Got me to love this character. Epic is fascinating. The story that's on right now is merely pretty good. And that has a downside of where you can go, oh, and it feels worse than it is because you're on a downtrend rather than, when in all reality, I was going to think about it, even average Hawkman story is better than most comics. So I don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. When ongoing comics, that's a nature thing. Sometimes an arc just has a miss. Sometimes you can't hit home runs every time. But as long as Venditti keeps hitting base hits, I'll keep buying for a while. If it goes a long time and it doesn't get to another home run again, maybe then I'll tune out. We'll see. But this is absolutely a comic I'm a fan of, and I encourage you to get into it. If it's your introduction to Hawkman, by all means, make sure you get issues 1 through 12. It is a complete story. 1 through 7 is the origin. 8 through 12 is the big action-packed finale, Return of the Jedi style, and it's not to be missed. Moving on to Marvel. Oh, guess the dogs were waiting for Marvel. All right, it's Marvel time. Nope, not interested. Just thirsty. I'm thirsty too. I'm gonna have a drink. This Dr. Pepper's so good. Daredevil Through Hell, Part 1. Look, Spider-Man. But here, look, Checchetto is back. Zdarsky and Checchetto. Who knew I would be buying a Chip Zdarsky book? I didn't. If you'd have told me that 2 years ago, I'd have laughed at you. But it's good. And Daredevil is one of my favorite Marvel characters. I love him when he's done right. I hate it when they try to make him into things. Oops. My video stopped because I ran out of, not space, but like it only records for 30 minutes. So I was like, past my time limit. That's not uncommon for me, unfortunately. Ash Wednesdays, these videos can be long. And I was hoping to catch that. I hate when it just cuts in the video like that. And then I don't want to do like proper video editing. So then I just do this. And anyways, moving on. Absolute Carnage tie-in for Venom, number 18. This came out. I got to my store a little bit late today, and this was already sold out. And I was like, oh no. And I thought this was on my pull list. I was like, what's going on? But it wasn't. But because I'm always nice to the comic book staff and treat them nice and respectful, they are nice to me and helpful. And remember this lesson, kids. Don't be rude to your comic book staff. They were already marking this book up to $5.99. Apparently there's something going on in the book. I don't like that stores do this. This should have just been on the shelf. But what are you going to do? Marvel's predatory towards the stores just like it is to fans. And stores are dying and hard to make a buck. They're desperate to pay the rent, so I guess now we all suffer. Everyone suffers for it because of this shit industry. But ethically, I don't think that's right. It's within an hour of opening, you're already marking the book up to $5.99. That's not cool. But they didn't charge me $5.99 because they're cool to me. And I'd be cool to them, and then we have a good relationship. So that's Venom. And then also Donny Cates, because in Donny Cates we trust. Donny Cates is the man over at Marvel. This is the guy. If I were in charge of Marvel, if I was editor-in-chief, if I were Joe Quesada, well, first of all, Joe Quesada would have to fire himself, but this is a guy that should have Joe Quesada's job. And Joe Quesada should not be the chief creative officer if he's not actually creating anything, right? Chief creative officer should be someone like the way Jeff Johns is, writing his own books, but then also orchestrating other things with it. It's hard. Anyways, I'm going to diverge. But Donny Cates is fantastic. I love Silver Surfer. He rarely gets to have a good book. I was hesitant about even getting back into Marvel, but I remember I was like, it's Silver Surfer. And I did, and I'm thankful. All the Marvel books I get, I'm very strict on Marvel books. So if you see me buying a Marvel book, you know that it's worthy. And speaking of worthy, I talked some serious trash about this one. Serious trash. And you know what? There's still a lot of convincing that Marvel has to do. But as far as this series itself, by itself goes, House of X, Powers of 10, it's one series. This is stupid. It's a dumb publishing gimmick. I was talking about predatory towards the fans. What is this? 4 of 6. This is really what, book 7 of the whole. It should be a 12-issue miniseries, but it's not because they're scamming you. But one person who's not scamming you is Jonathan Hickman. At least we have no reason to believe. Every book just keeps getting better. Since the 3rd overall issue, where we got the big Moira reveal, which I'm not going to spoil in case you're still not spoiled already. And you're like, how's it going to get better? And then it does. And then you're like, oh, that issue was amazing. And then it does. You're just like, what the? And the last issue, which is House of X number 4, was phenomenal. And you can see I've done reviews on all of them. The first couple of reviews are kind of sketchy, but this book picked up, and I was like, oh, damn, it's off to the races. So this is my least favorite cover so far, but whatever. I can't wait to read this. This is going to be the first book I read. It's not the best book, despite some people went over the moon, I think, on the last issue, which I thoroughly loved. I gave it 5 stars. It's still not the best book, but it is the most exciting. It's the most interesting. It's the one that has me the most hooked. I need to know what's going on. It's fantastic. So I hope you're reading this. I want to talk more about this. This is my pull for this week. Let's see if I can get these all in a line here. There's too many books. I should have a limit so they only fit. There we go. Which is going to be the best. I'm going to put Stan here. And look at that. Look at that. He can like cover Hawkman and X-Men. And then Forky, what's the trash book? Oh, you didn't even blink, buddy. Yep, Tom King's Batman. So there's my pulls. Tell me what you think below. Talk about what you're pulling. I want to know. Tell me what books are exciting you right now. What books do you wish you could add to your list, but maybe budgets don't allow you? What books did you fire that just kind of bummed you out? You're like, I used to like this, but it went down. Like, whatever you want to talk about. That's kind of the whole reason I make these videos, is to talk to people like you and just have fun talking comics. So join me on Discord. Information is below. Join me in the chat below, whatever. If you have your own videos, if you do your own polls, you don't got to do them as lengthy and elaborate as me and long-winded. Not everyone's as long-winded as me, but I would genuinely, I like to watch what people are pulling. And I'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. Hashtag, what would Stan do? Hashtag, never forget.